Making It Work is brought to you by Wealthsimple, which gives everyone access to simple, affordable investing on cruise control.
I graduated from a small liberal arts college with a little over $13,000 in debt. I then moved to Washington, D.C., where I took a job as a research assistant with a salary of $34,000. I was lucky, debt-wise. My grandmother had set up an education account for me that covered my first year of college. My parents generously helped along the way. I worked a couple of campus jobs, and I was able to score quite a few scholarships to defuse the cost. Compared to many of my friends, my debt was quite low, but I still hated living with the thought of paying off college loans for the next several years of my life. I decided to throw everything I could at my debt as soon as I started working. My college had a unique program where they don't take government loans. All loans go directly through the school. This is good because they offer a 1-year grace period before interest hits. It's also bad because the interest is outrageously expensive when it does hit at a 10% rate. So, I knew that my best option would be to pay off my loan in that first year. It ultimately saved me what could have amounted to thousands of dollars in interest. Here's what I did to pay it off in just 1 year. Number 1. I kept my expenses as low as possible. There are some benefits to moving to a city where you don't know a ton of people, including not constantly being asked to go out to places you can't afford. Luckily, I didn't have to face the loneliness that often accompanies a move to a new city. One of my dear college friends, similarly working to pay off college debt, moved in with me. Together, we explored the city in a cost-effective way. For instance, our local pub offered an amazing $10 burger and beer deal weekdays after 10 p.m. And since we were straight out of college, the late hours didn't faze us. But we were equally happy with a night in, sitting around drinking tea or wine and reading or chatting into the night about our exciting new life in the big city. Sharing an apartment with a friend also helped me cut costs. While a place of my own was out of the question, even a 2-bedroom would have been too expensive. My roommate and I shared a 1-bedroom. This is another one of those things that sounds difficult to me now, but having just come off of years of dorm living, it wasn't a struggle. We already had more room than we'd had in college, and it saved me around $300 a month to throw straight at my loans. Number 2, I took on a second job. I know, the classic side hustle advice. But my new apartment building was right above a college bookstore, and I love books, so I figured I'd give it a try. I can't say I enjoyed going straight from my 9 to 5 to work at the bookstore 6 to 10 a couple nights a week and some weekends, but I will say that it helped me a lot on the way to paying off debt. And while it might be the mark of a more financially mature person to continue with the side hustle even after the debt is paid off, for me, the most rewarding aspect of sending in my final debt payment was being able to quit my job at the bookstore that same week. It wasn't a bad job, but I was getting exhausted by the balance of 2 jobs. Still, the couple $1,000s I made there went straight to paying off my loans. Plus, the nights working prevented me from spending the time going out and spending more money. Number 3, I took advantage of credit card rewards. While I know a lot of people avoid credit cards because they can foster risky spending habits, I am a huge proponent of them. Thanks to my mom's guidance, I treat my credit cards like debit cards. I never spend more than I have in my bank account, and I check their balances almost every day. And the sign-up bonuses? They can be amazing. That's how I paid off the last bit of my debt. I did my last big loan payment on the card, and my 50,000-point bonus translated to $500 of free cash. So while it looked like a $4,000 payment, I only had to cover $3,500. Also, using my credit card so much and so well has also resulted in a great credit score, which will help me significantly in applying for loans as I buy a house later this year. But that's a different story. Of course, there are a few things that I wish I had done differently during this time. For instance, I should have lived with a bit more of an emergency cushion during that year. I always kept about $1,000 in savings, just in case. But that was nowhere near the standard advice of 6 months of expenses and savings. It ended up working out, but if an unexpected emergency had happened, I might have been forced to turn to my credit card to make ends meet. I also wish I'd negotiated more when it came to my salary in my new position. When my future boss called and made the offer, I was so excited that I immediately accepted the job and the salary she offered. My debt payoff could have taken even less time if I had negotiated a higher salary. I can't emphasize enough the freedom I've felt after getting rid of my student loans. It was worth the first year of scrimping and saving to feel like I could go on to pursue my dream of grad school without still worrying about how to make the payment on my loans from undergrad.
Getting rid of debt is one of the best things that you can do for your financial and mental health. And once you've taken care of it, you can put your money to work on even bigger goals. With a company like Wealthsimple, you can start seriously investing today. Wealthsimple is online investing that's as simple and human as it gets. In just 5 minutes, they'll build you a custom portfolio to fit your personal goals and timeline. Just answer a few easy questions and they'll manage your money for you on autopilot. Set it, forget it, and let your money grow in the background. You can turn on automatic deposits as well as set up a smart savings account with higher rates than big banks for your shorter-term goals, your wedding, your next great adventure, or that handbag you need. They also have a socially responsible portfolio that invests in green stocks and companies that support gender diversity. The fees are much lower than big banks, and TFD viewers will get their first $10,000 managed for free with no minimum deposit. Check them out at wealthsimple.com/TFD or use the link in our description. There are no account minimums, and it only takes a few minutes to start. No excuses.